Welcome to Tony the Movie Guy, the podcast. We have a very special movie review episode for you today on Kingsman, The Golden Circle, the sequel in the Kingsman franchise. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this and not waste any more time. Enjoy.
Tony.
All right, hello everyone. This is Tony the Movie Guy, and with me is Miss Money Annie.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Okay, so this is episode 5. This is going to be a special movie review episode. So I always post reviews of movies that I see in the theater when they come out. Now, remember, I don't watch every movie that comes out, so I wouldn't particularly rely on me for a review on everything. But the big releases I will usually always see and I will review, and sometimes some little known movies that deserve to be watched I will review as well. So I post those reviews on Tony the Movie Guy, the Facebook page, so you can see the review on the Facebook page, but we're going to kind of test it out here as a podcast episode, and I'll give the review of the movie I'm going to tell you about, and we'll discuss it a little bit. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
it.
good. So we saw Kingsman, The Golden Circle. And this episode is going to be us discussing and reviewing that film. So first of all, just to kind of give you guys an overview, the way I rate and review films is 1 out of 5 stars. Again, you'll see this on the Tony the Movie Guy Facebook page. 0 is unwatchable. 1 is like just piss poor, bad, terrible.
Awful.
2 is fair, like meh. 3 is good. 4 is excellent. And 5 is it's a classic. So more about that later as well. Okay, good. So I'll tell you, Kingsman, The Golden Circle is a sequel to Kingsman, The Secret Service.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a Matthew Vaughn film. I love that director. He did Kick-Ass, he did Stardust, he did X-Men First Class. Fantastic director. It's got Taron Egerton, Colin Firth was in the original one, Mark Strong. I absolutely loved the first film that came out.
It was phenomenal.
It was a sleeper hit as well. Not many people really knew what it was. It's based on a comic book, apparently. It's just fantastic. It was like a spy James Bond kind of mashup, hyper-kinetic action comedy. And the first one was excellent. It was a huge hit. So this is the sequel that came out a few years ago. So they obviously, with the success of that, they really fast-tracked it. And I personally was really excited for this film because I loved the first one so much. And then the cast for the sequel was just phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah, Colin Firth coming back, Taron Egerton, Mark Strong, and then Halle Berry, Channing Tatum, Jeff Bridges, Pedro Pascal, who's
Is that the Mexican guy? The Spanish guy?
Yeah, he's the Viper from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and he's also actually in Narcos. He's amazing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who, actually, he was one of the best parts of this sequel. So, first of all, I'll tell you this, I was disappointed. I was personally myself. So I rated it 2.5 stars out of 5. That doesn't mean I don't recommend it. It just means it was kind of like a little above meh to me. Yenny doesn't agree. She did enjoy it. And look, I'm actually surprised that I didn't enjoy it more. I'll kind of tell you my review and then we'll discuss it a little bit, okay?
Sounds good.
She's looking at me with like dagger eyes.
You're dissing my Channing here.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that. So number one, the first thing that I had a problem with is this film is 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, it was long.
I thought it was a good 30 minutes too long. So I think that worked against it a bit.
I agree with that.
It was just too long. Number two, the cast is phenomenal, but it just isn't well used. So a perfect example of that is Channing Tatum. You know, he was great in it. And then his character kind of gets sidelined. I don't want to give away spoilers because this is a film that just came out, but he's not in the movie a lot. And when he kind of appears, you kind of get pumped and excited. You know, I like Channing Tatum. He's good. And then his character gets sidelined. That didn't make sense to me. And something that really bothered me was some of the choices they made with some of the characters in this film. So I won't give spoilers, but that aggravated me. And when you watch the movie, I think you'll see too. Then obviously with Colin Firth, if you've watched the first film, this isn't a spoiler, you know that he gets shot in the first film and you think he's dead. You know from the trailers that he comes back. And again, I won't go into details on it, but there's a side plot with him having amnesia and it involves butterflies and I found that a bit tacky. I still liked Colin Firth in it, but I found that side plot a bit annoying. Taron Egerton, I think, is a real rising star. I love this kid. He plays Eggsy. He's so charming. He was in a film called Eddie the Eagle. Such a great movie with Hugh Jackman. He's one of those actors who I haven't seen him in barely anything. As a matter of fact, that's all I've seen him in. Kingsman, the sequel, and Eddie the Eagle. But he already has made a big impression, and my wife has a huge crush on him. But that's okay. He's pretty adorable. So... Okay, yeah, so, you know, just the plot kind of was all over the place. Julianne Moore, oh, wow, yeah, Julianne Moore's in it. She plays the villain. She's a fantastic actress. I love Julianne Moore. I did not like her in this. I thought she had a very one-note kind of slapstick, typical villain, in my opinion. So I know I'm being a bit harsh here. I'm kind of just going over the negatives first. I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars, so it's kind of split in the middle. There are obviously good things about it. But anyway, so I didn't like, you know, I found the plot kind of nothing original. I didn't like some of the character choices, you know, and the direction it took. And that bothered me. And the length also bothered me. On the flip side, as I said, you know, Colin Firth, Taron Egerton, they're still great. Mark Strong was fantastic, I thought, in this film. Pedro Pascal, I really liked, actually. Yeah, I thought he was actually one of the best... characters in the film. He was really good. And where the film really does succeed is the crazy action sequences. Yeah. I mean, it has fantastic action sequences from the start. A little too insane, but they're still, you know, those made the film quite enjoyable. And the cameo with Elton John. Okay, so this isn't too much of a spoiler, but Elton John has a cameo in the film, in the sequel. And I found half of it worked really well, and then half of it didn't. It was it was overused a bit, but it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you want to say, Annie?
So, I feel like I should be, you know, drowning myself in
really
my tears and my bottle of whiskey here after your review,
you don't
honestly.
drink whiskey.
I would
drink
now.
Wine.
I feel sad.
So it's divided, you know. As I said, I liked the action.
Yeah.
I thought the action was good. I liked the lead. But yeah, it was muddled otherwise.
So it's funny because I was actually really enjoying myself in that film until about, I'd say, an hour and 40 minutes in, which
that's the length of like a normal movie.
Yeah, it coincides with your you know, critique of it was too long. I do agree with that fully, because there were about 30 minutes that I feel could have been sort of cut out. I loved the action sequences. I was definitely entertained the entire time. So as a film where I walk in and I want to be entertained and, you know, predict the action sequence, the cocky British Egerton quips, and and I loved that him and Colin Firth still had that excellent chemistry.
They had good chemistry.
They really did. And yeah, the cameos. I enjoyed it more in the sense that I walked out still very entertained.
Right.
I laughed enough. I saw some brilliant fights. There was this doesn't really give anything away. There's that one particular action sequence in the bar that I thought was really great, cool. Really fun. But yes, they totally underused Channing Tatum. That was extremely odd.
It was weird. Like it gave me the idea that maybe he signed on for a bigger part, but Channing is like an A-list star. I know. So maybe it was too expensive and they couldn't afford him.
What's odd about that is if you're going to do a cameo, then just do a cameo.
Right.
They actually gave him a character that was supposed to be like... I don't know, it was a bit too much for just a cameo
Yeah.
and too little for a proper role in a film. It was very odd.
It was
part.
weird.
But I would say I would have, like, on your rating, given it about a 3.25 to 3.5 in terms of how much I enjoyed it still. And, you know, the plot was somewhat predictable at times, but also I felt they tried to make it a bit wacky and unique. And funnily enough, like, even the Elton thing, it was a very kooky film.
Yeah.
And I kind of worked for me. I don't know why, because often that's not my thing. But for some reason, I was enjoying myself and laughing, and the kookiness, actually, I kind of enjoyed it.
I think I was just surprised with how much he was in it.
Yeah.
They use him
They did.
several times
Yeah.
in the film, and Elton John is not known as an actor.
No.
You
And
know?
he's not a great actor, but
Yeah.
it was funny.
Yeah.
His parts
so some
were
of
funny.
his cameos were laugh out loud hilarious.
Yeah,
And then
they were.
some were just kind of like, what is
What?
going on?
Yeah.
You
So
know?
I don't, you know, all your critiques, I think, are pretty much totally accurate. I think I just somehow enjoyed it more for what it was. You know, I walk in on every sequel not ever expecting to love it as much as the first. I never do.
That's a good point.
I never do. So I walk in like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to think.
That's a really
here.
good point, because actually it's rare that a sequel exceeds your expectations.
Right.
So, and you're right. Look, I'll tell you this. When I watch it when it comes out, because of course I'm going to watch it again when it comes out on iTunes, I might enjoy it more.
Your expectations were incredibly high.
They were very high,
Yeah.
especially with that cast. The
Yeah.
trailers look so good. I was really excited.
And now that you actually, just on something you said, even Halle Berry's character, although
They didn't really use her.
it's like it's there, but it's kind of, it's almost as if they try, you know what it is? They tried to take a lot of A-list stars and cram them
Right.
into a story, and they couldn't fully make use of them, because even the little side plot with her about in this, you know, that they tried to sort of put in there, even at the ending, there's a scene where they're trying to sort of give her a little part, and but it's kind of odd.
Right,
Like
she wants to be promoted and
Correct.
go out on the field as a statesman. Just as a little kind of thing on the movie itself. So you've got the Kingsmen, who are like the British spies, and then the statesmen are like the American, you know,
Which I
spies.
liked.
And
That story plot was
Jeff
good.
Bridges,
Yeah.
Halle Berry, Channing Tatum,
that
Pedro
whole idea,
Pascal.
I think, was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I had some great ideas. So look, I mean, I gave it a 2.5. You gave it a 3.5. You know, if we do a kind of combined rating, we'd give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. And look, I
definitely.
wouldn't disagree with that, because it's. And look, here's the thing. I say this a lot. You know, so many films get absolutely crapped on and slaughtered.
Yeah.
This is not a film looking to win awards.
No,
it's not trying to be serious or make an important point or deliver a message that's important.
No.
People, they want to entertain people, and it was entertaining. For me, I guess it was kind of a bit in and out. It was like Rocky. I was entertained at times, sometimes I wasn't. And I think the length had a lot to do with it. So I'd say we'd probably give it around 3 out of 5 stars together.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's kind of, you know, the overview of the film.
And like you said, it's had a lot of mixed reviews, and that actually coincides completely with what we're saying. Some people love it, some people really don't like it. It's very interesting how this film is playing out, but overall, I think a 3 is a good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I went completely blank on what else I wanted to say, so I think we'll wrap it up on that episode.
Okay, sounds good.
But look, we wanted to get our review out to everyone. Tell us if you like us kind of reviewing a new film when it comes out. So look, let's give it 3 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
It's enjoyable. It's definitely got problems. It's enjoyable. Oh, I know what I was going to say now. It didn't leave me thinking the franchise was dead and over.
Right.
It didn't. So like when I watched Terminator Genesis, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
My wife liked it because she wasn't so familiar with all the Terminator movies, but I was like, ugh, that was terrible. It's dead and buried. Yeah. And as we already discussed in one of the last episodes, now James Cameron is going to bring it back, and I'm like, ugh, okay, I'll give it another go.
Right.
But I'm still looking forward to, because they're discussing a 3rd film. And I hope they do that. I think this one will still do pretty well at the box office. It opened at #1 in the US. made almost $40 million. It's not a huge hit, but I think it'll do pretty well. I would like to see a third movie, and hopefully they can kind of learn from any mistakes, maybe make it shorter, make it more character-driven, and I would absolutely watch the third one. So, yeah, so that's our review of Kingsman: The Golden Circle. We'll give it 3 out of 5 stars. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for listening to Tony the Movie Guy, the podcast, episode 4, the review on Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Before I let you go, I want to shamelessly plug a couple of things. First, I want to thank 2 very special supporters this week, Wade and Candace. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us. You guys have no idea. Also, I wanted to remind you all to rate and review the podcast. It's very, very helpful for us to get us out there, get more people listening, provide us with more wherewithal to provide you with more episodes. So if you can go ahead and do that, share it with your friends, by the way. You know, we're not opposed to more people listening. Also, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Tony the Movie Guy. And our email is tonythemovieguypodcast@gmail.com for any comments or questions or ideas for shows or whatever. Just let us know. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.